Hi there, I finally watched Sing 2, a movie that came out last year at some point. I had no interest in seeing it, of course. It recently got put on Netflix, so I watched it, figured I should make some kind of video about it, but I don't want to just do like a standard review, impressions kind of thing, because especially so late after release, I don't know how much that would really be to YouTube at large. Like, so many people have already talked about it on that level. I've been trying to think of other ways to discuss the movie or use the movie as a sort of launch pad to talk about a broader topic, and in this case, when I was watching it, I kind of had the perspective of, I'm sure there are a million videos on YouTube already saying this is like a disaster, oh, it's trash, it's junk. I do agree with that general perspective, but I generally don't like to contribute to that sort of thing, so I was like, okay, maybe I'll try to be sort of kinder to it or find some positive things to say or analyze. But then, doing a tiny bit of research after watching the movie and getting clips and stuff to have in the video, I saw the Rotten Tomatoes scores for this movie, and honestly, I'm kind of shocked. I think it's like 71, it's in the 70s for critic reviews, and 98% for the audience score. Audience score blows my mind. I just don't understand. That's what I was saying. It's like, I was on the verge of making a whole video about just, hey, maybe we should kind of be okay with trash movies like this being released and them making a decent amount of money and a lot of people enjoying them, because for a lot of people, movies are just supposed to be entertainment, especially kids' movies. They just want them to be entertaining, whether they're kids or adults, and they're not going to look for anything more. Myself and plenty of other people who consider themselves like film buffs or like armchair critics, professional critics, tend to have very different ideas about what movies should be. So when you have any sort of argument about a movie like this, it definitely comes down to these two completely different perspectives. If someone says the movie's bad and someone else says the movie is good, they're probably talking about completely different things or completely different aspects of the movie. If you look at Sing 2 from like a technical perspective or a perspective of storytelling, it's a pretty darn bad movie. Like, the visuals are fine, it's Illumination, they look okay, the world building is stupid and makes no sense. Like, why are they animals? Why are they animals? Because that's like a thing you don't have to license, and there's a general assumption that kids like animals, I guess? It's so lame. Like, there's no reason for it. No one really acts like an animal. Like, I don't get it. Anyway, so all those aspects, pretty darn negative. I don't think we could say it's a very good movie at all. But then, from this other perspective of, oh, it should just be entertaining, it should be escapist and fun. Yeah, I guess it meets that criteria for the most part. I mean, it's also very subjective, of course, but personally, I had a tough time trying to just view the movie on that level. And that's not because, like, oh, I'm always analyzing stuff. I mean, I sort of am. But no, it's not for that reason. It's because even along those lines of just trying to be fun and escapist and entertaining, I still think it's kind of junk, and it's really hard to ignore the fact that the entire story, every character motivation, every bit of setup and payoff, every bit of lip service they pay to a standard story structure is just for the sake of having those elements there. Everything is in service of setting up licensed music, singing, playing either parts or entire songs. Just pop songs, famous songs that most people will know. I guess for someone whose standards are very low and who enjoys pop music to an incredible degree, I guess you could say it's entertaining and like foot tapping and you have fun with some of the musical numbers. But like, that's it. That's it. Every bit of story is completely hollow. The characters really mean nothing. They're not developed at all. They just have sort of standard copy-paste character traits or arcs that feel incredibly weak. There's no character chemistry of any kind. Also, there's so many, but like character arcs they're trying to set up and pay off that like a lot of them happen over 2 or 3 scenes total, like really short scenes. In this tiny little scene, we'll set up this thing with this character, the pig lady, who's afraid of doing wire work. I guess that's non-negotiable. She has to do that or she doesn't get the part. Okay, that's set up in this little short scene. Then we have one other scene where she's still afraid of it. And then we have the concluding bit where the arc completes and it's just that she jumps off and does the wire work because she has to save somebody. Like, if we put all those scenes together, it would maybe be like 2 minutes, a little over 2 minutes long, and there's so many arcs just like that, and none of them feel like they have any amount of substance. It's a Spotify playlist pretending to be a movie. I was not able to shut that off. I was not able to step away from the sensation of, oh, this is all completely hollow. Like, this is nothing. There's absolutely no substance. And I think it's kind of a funny little detail that within the movie itself, the whole thing is we have like a group of people doing theater. All of their shows are as equally hollow in the exact same way, only serve to set up like pop song covers, like weak, uninspired pop song covers. Is that the writers being somewhat self-aware and they're like, yeah, we know this is trash? Or is the movie trying to defend itself by just showing us that, oh, these faceless audience members who we don't know at all, they all really like these shows. They sing along to the pop songs, they clap really loud when things happen, and the story bits of the shows in the movie that they're performing are next to nothing. They get basically no time. We don't even know what the plot is of this like sci-fi show they're doing. I don't know whether it's self-aware. I don't know whether it's like self-apologetic for how weak the structure and the story is throughout, but that's all it is. It's just there to stage these songs. Even the songs, I'm sorry, like generally I'm not against pop music or something, or like mainstream, Billboard chart topping hits, like whatever. Definitely not my favorite thing. Every once in a while I'll get into some pop music and it's fine. But even that, like pop music itself is designed to be disposable. It's supposed to be really catchy and fun and easy to listen to, not challenging in any way, appealing to a massive audience so that it can be licensed everywhere, so that it can be played into the absolute ground to the point where you're sick of hearing it. Pop music dates horribly because it's so heavily associated with a particular moment in time that hearing it outside of that moment of popularity is just like, ooh, yuck, which is yet another problem of this movie, in my opinion, is that even if the production cycle for a movie like this was only like 2 months, and they were licensing all this music that was popular right when they started producing it, even then, the music would sound really outdated and like behind the times, and here they're using stuff that's very outdated, in my opinion, just in terms of like zeitgeist stuff. So like, why are people so into this? 98% of people who bothered to make a Rotten Tomatoes account and do a whole review, do a rating, like what on earth is it? I mean, kids maybe. I could understand a kid going into this movie and just saying, oh, whatever, it was fun. There were some goofy jokes. It's very colorful. It was kind of neat. They don't have to have high standards. That's A-okay. That's fine. But then if we could switch to like the adults, I don't know. Does it just boil down to I am a parent and I needed to take my kid to a movie that they would actually like enjoy and be engaged in for the full runtime? Is it just that? There have to be many other adults who watch this movie, aren't parents, and walked away saying, wow, that was a great time. And that's foreign to me. I'm trying really hard not to condescend to mainstream audiences because, first of all, who the heck am I to do anything like that? That's not a great perspective. And also, I think that it happens way too often on platforms like YouTube where you have people who are super into movies. And I hear this way too often where they're like, oh, well, it's audience's fault that we get stupid movies, stupid studio trash that just has no substance and isn't good at all and just makes a bunch of money because people are stupid. Like, I don't agree with that one bit. I think it's a cyclical thing. Yes, studios are serving up what audiences will hopefully respond to positively, purely in a financial sense. I don't want to blame someone for going to a movie that they just think will be some silly fun and not expect anything more from it. Like, that's okay. I get it. We all need escapism sometimes. We don't want to be challenged by every single thing we watch, especially like a kid's movie. But then what is the solution here? I do not think that we should be sending this kind of signal to a studio like Illumination that it's okay if the bar stays incredibly low. I genuinely think it's bad for us as people to continue enabling this kind of product. It's junk food. That's an easy metaphor, but I think it applies pretty darn well and also drives home the idea that I want to really hammer home here, which is that, okay, it's fine sometimes, like this type of movie, this type of media won't hurt you every once in a while. Escapism is fine. That can be cathartic in some cases and provide some positive distraction from worries, anxieties, whatever. But if this is what you're getting all the time, if this is what you're eating constantly, these are the only kinds of movies you really go out of your way to see, specifically to pay for to see in a movie theater, with money, I don't think that's a very good thing to do, just in terms of like the health and development of your brain. Not just for kids. Of course, it's very important for kids to have high quality entertainment. That's a big deal, and it's something we should talk about much more. But even for adults, it's important to take care of your brain and to exercise your brain. And this kind of movie doesn't do any of that work at all. It's frustrating to me when I see this weirdly positive response to a movie that doesn't even do a good job of aiming low. I don't have too much else to share here, and I don't want it to come across as just yet another angry rant about a movie that I don't think is very good. But those are my genuine feelings on Sing 2, and also specifically the apparent mainstream audience reaction to the movie. I think maybe we should all put in some effort and try not to support these types of media products. It's not good for all of us down the line. That's just my take. Everyone's welcome to disagree, obviously. That's all I've got for you. Feel free to share your thoughts and comments, blah, blah, blah. Please feel free to support the channel as well, any way you can think of. And thanks for stopping by.